Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Urban Entrepreneur Show. I am Anna Banks, your host, and this is a show that's going to uncover the strategies and the mindsets of successful ventures. And today we have a very special guest who is a powerhouse in the world of online business sales and online business and sales mastery. Joining us is Susan D. Crum, CEO of Susan D. Crum LLC, who's been referred to as the secret weapon behind top organizations in the coaching industry. Now, in today's episode, titled Unveiling Secrets, Unveiling the Secrets, I should say, mastering heart centered sales conversations, Susan is going to share with us some of her insights on how to conduct sales conversations that may not only reflect a heart centered service mindset, but also help you to develop some strategies to overcome those formidable, sometimes objections into opportunities and to create some genuine, heartfelt connections that will inspire clients, prospects to say yes. So, welcome to the Urban Entrepreneur Show, Susan D. Crum.
Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Thank you for that warm introduction. I am delighted to be here. And thank you for this platform that you provide not only for me, but for so many other entrepreneurs, influencers out there in the world to really share and support one another. So thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited that you're here because, as much as we know that sales is really the lifeblood of our businesses, many of us, I hate to say, even me sometimes, really just don't like the sales process. And, we do it sometimes, with more energy than other times. But in talking with you before the show, we learned that you really do have a way of helping other entrepreneurs and business owners, make this process a lot more, I hate to say the word, but enjoyable.
Yes.
So let's start off with, I think it's a simple question. And that is, can you share a pivotal moment in your entrepreneurial journey when you realized that heartfelt, heart-centered sales conversations are important and how it transformed your approach to sales?
Great question to lead off here, Anna. As I reflect, there have been so many pivotal moments in my career, but the one that stands out to me the most that I think is a result of those heart-centered conversations was when I first saw the value of the results I was providing for my clients. I think so many times, whether we have a product or a service that we are, quote, selling, right? We're so focused on the product, or in my case, the coaching program, or the service that we're providing, that we're selling that product, that service. What I came to realize, thanks to an incredible mentor of mine, it was not about the product. It was not about the service. It's about the results. And so it was a change. And I know in the introduction, you mentioned mindset more than once. It was a huge mindset shift for me to realize that, yes, I am selling my coaching program, But honestly, at the end of the day, I'm not selling my coaching program, but I am here to inspire that prospective client to say yes to the results that they wanted.
Mm.
And, you were talking, I can remember having those conversations. And again, for many heart-centered entrepreneurs, the conversation that precedes potentially extending an offer or an invitation, if you do see there's an opportunity to support someone, we can stay in that lane of being heart-centered. We're very service-minded. We really care about what the client is going through. We're genuinely interested in learning more about their goals, their dreams, their visions. But then, like, 2/3 of the way into the conversation, it's like, wow, I do have a solution to help Anna have X, Y, and Z, right? And it was like there was this switch on my back that just flipped. And I had no sales experience before I became an entrepreneur. I had my entire career was in the nonprofit sector. So I had a lot of kind of fundraising strategies, things I was trying to use. But I know at the end of the day, Anna, I was just selling. And, no one wants to be sold to, right? But I just kept thinking, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a different way that keeps me in this lane, even when I'm positioning my offer, when I'm extending this invitation.
Mhm.
I would just want to, crawl under my desk. I hated that part of the conversation to the degree that it almost was like repelling me and prohibiting me from even doing this. That's how
Mhm.
bad it was. But I knew there had to be a way. I knew there had to be a strategy. And one of the key pieces that was a pivotal moment for me was when I became more focused on the results, because I know firsthand it's the results that people do want, and it's also results that people buy.
Absolutely.
So when I became more focused on the results I was delivering, because I had a solution to help you with that big problem, it allowed me to continue focusing on you. I was not focused on me, knowing I could help you. I wasn't focused on my program, knowing, wow, Anna would really thrive and I know she could get some big results through this program. The focus shifted and I kept my focus on you. That was one of many pivotal moments in my career, especially as a coach and doing enrollment conversations, strategy sessions. That totally changed the trajectory of my business.
Mm.
And it also proffered me the opportunity to work with more people so I could make a bigger impact, create more transformation, and generate more revenue. And so that for me was a huge, huge pivotal moment when I maintained that focus on you, my prospective client, rather than the table turning. And now all of a sudden it's all about me and my program. Huge.
Well, that is so key, Susan, because you know, often as an entrepreneur, we definitely want to make the cash and we want to make the impact. And sometimes we forget that the person that is coming in to our, whether it's a brick and mortar business or
Mm,
coming into our into whatever our system is
yes.
that they're looking for a result.
Hmm.
They're not looking,
Yes.
like we could be as cute as all get up, right? And we are. But they really are looking for a result. They're looking
Yeah.
for a solution
Yeah.
to the problem that they have.
Yeah.
So I totally get that. And I can
And
understand where that would be a pivotal moment.
and I'm glad you brought up brick and mortar because again, regardless if it's online, if it's a brick and mortar business, if anyone out there has a product they're selling, a service they're selling, this strategy is going to serve all of you
Mhm.
because it's not about you selling that product. It's not even about a car salesman selling the car, right? What true story, the last car I bought, it wasn't even the salesman. It was my fiance. He opens the back door and it had the monitors in the headpiece, right?
Mhm.
And at this time, we were expecting our first grandchild. And he looked at me and he said, "Scarlett would love this." She wasn't even
Oh.
born yet. She was about to be. She wasn't
Mhm.
even born yet. And it was like, wow. And I started to imagine having Scarlett in the backseat of that car.
Mhm.
I imagined her watching her little movies and DVDs in the back of the car, in the back of Grammy's car. It wasn't so much about the car, although I did like it, but that I was like, yeah, this is it.
Mhm.
Because I began to imagine what this car, how I was going to get to be able to take all my family when we go on trips. We can all ride together. Scarlett can watch her movies. It's the result. And very often, and you don't often think about that, especially with something like a car,
Mhm.
but it's also kind of that emotional trigger as it relates to the results too, because we're all emotional buyers.
Absolutely. We most certainly are. We most certainly are. So, Susan, in your experience, what are some of the common misconceptions that entrepreneurs have about sales? And how do you address them to cultivate this heart centered approach that you're speaking
Mm. I think one, Anna, is so many times they feel like other people will not pay
of? Mm,
for what it is they have to offer. Whether it is, a coach that's offering their experience, their expertise, or it's a product. And, I think that's a huge misconception. And it kind of
mm,
goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you are focused on the results that your product, your service is providing, not in all cases, but in many cases, there's literally transformational results that are very invaluable.
mm,
And again, at the end of the day, and I believe this to be true about product sales and service, at the end of the day, in most cases, instead of people buying that product or service, they're actually in turn, bit of a mindset shift here,
mm.
they're in turn making an investment into themselves to get this product, to get this service in order to receive the results that this product or service is going to help them have, help them
Yeah.
do, help them become. And many times that investment's going to pay for itself over and over and over again.
Yes. Yes.
I firmly believe, even in my own experience, especially if we are experiencing a lot of pain, a lot of
Mhm.
challenges in our life, in our business, and we find a solution. In my decade plus in this industry, it rarely will surprise me what people will do to get resourceful. Not only do they need to see you have a solution, your solution also has to be in alignment with what they want.
Absolutely.
And if
Absolutely.
they want it, again, I believe people either have the resources or they will get resourceful in order to get this solution they want, to get the results that they want to have, they want to do, they want to become. I know when I first started, I remember telling my mentor, there's nobody in my small town that's going to pay me for my experience and expertise. Boy, was I wrong.
Mhm.
And it was a mindset shift. That was it. It was a mindset shift. And again, I think, once you really get clear on the transformation that the results have in the lives of your clients, you see the value, you see how their lives, their businesses, relationships, health, whatever the case may be, are improving. It's a game changer.
Absolutely. And you're so right on that. I like the way that you frame that, though, when you say they get resourceful. They get resourceful. How did you say that? You said
They either have the resources
yes.
or they will get resourceful to get the resources they need to invest in themselves.
That's right. And
Yeah.
and that is so true. I know because there were a few times, somebody was trying to quote unquote sell me something. And I knew that I really needed that particular kind of help, but I wasn't going to, pay that money.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but then as the conversation continued, it was like, okay, well, I do have
I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been there too.
I do have this piece over here that I was
Yeah.
saving for something else.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, yes,
absolutely. And
yes.
and decided to go
Mhm,
ahead and to, as you said, invest
mhm.
in
Yeah.
myself.
One of my influencers, he was enrolling a client into a high ticket coaching program. And at the end of the conversation, the prospective client, quote, didn't have any money.
Mhm,
They continued the conversation. Well, the prospective client goes on to share that his mother had passed away and she had left him a pretty good amount of money
mhm,
for a rainy day. And the influencer looks at him and says, "Well, I don't know about you, but today looks like a bit of a rainy day."
mhm.
Bringing him back to the pain, the problems he was experiencing in both his business and life.
Yes, yes.
And so, yeah, like I said, it never, and I think the other thing too, I know when I first made my first investment into myself, it was not one I just look, "Oh, here's my credit card." Like,
Mhm.
I had to get resourceful, but because I did, I think it's so much easier to inspire other people to do what we've already gone before them and done.
Absolutely.
And I was
Absolutely.
not gonna let the lack of resources at that time hold me back anymore, because I did find a solution and I found someone who could help me receive the results I wanted for me, and at the time for me and my son.
Well, see, like I said, people do, well, you said it. People will find the resources
Mhm,
um for the help that they really believe
mhm.
that they know that they need and that they believe that you have the solution for.
Yeah. And I think that's also why that heart-centered conversation before you extend the invitation, the offer is so invaluable and so important. Like, that conversation can be so powerful and so
Mhm,
transformational. I remember years ago, a gentleman, a prospective client, stopped me. Like, I was talking, right? He interrupted me and he's like, "Susan, I just need to say something." And I'm thinking, this is about to go south. He stopped me to say this: "I want to say thank you." Of
mm,
course, I'm a little taken back, right? And I said, "Okay." He said, "I can't tell you the last time someone asked me what was important to me. The
mm.
last time that someone cared enough to talk to me about my dream, my goals, my vision." He said, "I just want to say thank you." And again, having a heart-centered conversation and continuing to keep even your invitation, your offer, or as you're selling a product, the same, everything here is applicable, because it was all about the results even for him, right? That he was looking for, that he wanted. But
Ab-
it all was very inspired during the conversation, even before I extended the invitation and the offer for him to continue working with us.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So good.
Yes.
So you mentioned um a strategy. You
Mhm,
mentioned this strategy a couple of times
mhm,
that allows you to extend these offers
mhm,
without making the conversation all about you,
Mhm.
or about your program.
Mhm.
So, could you elaborate on this strategy and
Mhm.
how it differs from the traditional sales approach?
Yeah. Yes, great question, Anna. The first thing that I would say, and this piece is probably going to be more applicable to coaches or consultants that are offering like a coaching program,
Mhm.
service, or consulting package.
Okay.
But so many times when, again, we're positioning the offer, we start talking about going through like our value stack, right? And so many times, and I hear this, it's almost like they're just going through reading a grocery list. So Anna, um, we continue working together. I'm going to be, you're going to get 7 weekly live workshops for the next 8 weeks. I'll give you access to the recordings. I will give you access to my private online Facebook group with my clients. I will also extend to you this bonus, that bonus. Like it's just everything it's like a checklist,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
If you are a coaching or a consultant, number one, you need a value stack. And as you are putting that value stack together, don't just list out items like a check off list. Every item, every inclusion in your value stack should be tied to
The result.
results. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because again, you're just reinforcing, now you're beginning to share how it's going to look, what that client can expect, how it's going to work with the two of you, or if they're in a group, continue working together. So that's one, I think, big mistake a lot of coaches and consultants make when it comes time to begin to position the offer with their value stacks and talking
Mhm.
about what it's going to look like. Again, it's just a rambling checklist. So ensure that everything in your value stack is tied to results.
Mhm.
Another strategy is before, and this even like precedes your value stack. As you're giving feedback to your client, like I like to keep my enrollment conversations very question driven. I
Mhm.
ask lots of questions. And I think as a rule of thumb, that 2/3 of the conversation, you should be doing the least amount of talking and lots of questions. Like just being genuinely curious as that prospective client is talking and sharing with you. And when I go to give feedback, I like to use steps within my program to articulate those more micro specific problems that that client is experiencing. So as I'm asking all these questions and I'm going through the conversation, I'm taking lots of notes because something that Sally may have shared with me earlier, that could be like a step that I teach in my signature program.
Right.
But instead of me saying, "So Sally, I have this program. Oh my gosh, you are going to love it. It is like it was made for you, Sally." And actually in step 3 of my program, I'm going to be teaching you about those apples. As opposed to, "So Sally, based on our conversation here, one of the problems I see are those apples. I'm not talking about my program,
Mhm.
but I'm using what I deliver and those micro problems I help clients solve. I'm using it as a guide to guide the conversation. Because when we are able, and here's another key too, especially for coaches and consultants, start to pay attention. Many times when you're talking with your prospective clients about challenges and problems, so many times they're really just talking about the symptoms, not the root of the problem.
Mhm.
So as influencers, as experts within the specific niche for each one of us in this industry, it's really important that we don't just echo the symptoms back to them, but we are able to really help nail the
Oh,
problem.
excuse me.
You're good. When we're able to help, like when we can show them what's really going on, it does position us as experts. It's
Absolutely.
allowing us to demonstrate our mastery and really show those prospective clients we know what we're talking about. We have a solution.
Oh, excuse me.
And all of
Drink.
this, you're good. All of this is again, I'm still focused on you. I'm
Absolutely.
pointing out to you these blind spots, these challenges, because you may only be aware of the symptoms. Like I'm all over the place. I'm so scattered. I can't. It seems like I can't get anything done. And those are all symptoms versus nailing the root of what's causing you to be scattered and all over the place. And so those are two, I think, very, very effective and
Mhm.
invaluable strategies that you can incorporate into your conversations to keep you in that heart-centered lane as a coach, consultant. And again, these can also be applied to people that sell products. It's the same thing, right? People may be telling you their symptoms, but you can really show them you are the expert and nail the problem. Your product that you're selling, your service or your coaching, your consulting that you're quote selling, that's just the bridge. Let me back up. That's the vehicle, right?
Mhm.
That's the vehicle that's going to get them from where they are to where they want to be. And
Absolutely.
yes, it is going to bridge the gap from where they are to where they want to be.
And I think that's really important,
Mhm.
that in the conversation that is demonstrated.
Yeah.
And I could see where um, just those two strategies that you shared can help an entrepreneur to, first of all, feel more comfortable and more at ease
Yes.
with what it is that they're presenting because it's not as salesy.
No.
But that the client or the prospective client actually hears that you understand what they're
Yes.
experiencing
Yes.
because you're able to go past what's on the surface
Yes.
to dive a little deeper and then
Mhm.
answer it from that perspective rather
Mhm.
than just from the surface.
Absolutely. I use this example all the time. I woke up New Year's this true story. I woke up New Year's Day this year, and I thought I had a really bad sinus infection. I
Mhm.
felt horrible, Anna, horrible. So I reached out to my doctor, who's also a friend, and I was like, "Hey, I've got a sinus infection." And, I had that day off being New Year's, but I had a full week ahead. I was like, can you call me in some medicine? Like, I just need to get better fast. I need to just nip this in the bud, right? Well, being the expert here, the doctor, even though she's my friend, she said, "Well, there's a lot going around right now. So I think we'll work you in, come in, and we'll see what's really going on." Because I did not want to pull myself out of bed and go to the doctor, but I did. And I remember driving over there thinking, "Oh my gosh, like I feel terrible. I wish she'd have just like
Yes.
taken care of me, right?" So I go in, we're talking about my symptoms, everything I'm experiencing. As the expert, she's listening, but she also does her due diligence.
Right.
A few minutes later, she comes back in the room. She says, "Well, Susan, you've got the flu." I'm like, "What?" Now, if she had walked back in the room and said, "Okay, you have a fever, you're coughing, you've got a sore throat, it's evident you're aching, you've got some body aches." I would have probably looked at her like, "I know. That's why I'm here, right?" Like, I'm aware of my symptoms. Now, in full transparency, sometimes people are not aware of their symptoms, but I think this is still a good analogy that if that's what she had told me, yeah, I'm aware of that, right? But instead, she took my symptoms and she properly diagnosed the problem.
Absolutely.
And again, I
Absolutely.
see her as an expert. She demonstrated her expertise by taking these symptoms and properly diagnosing what was going on with me.
Mhm.
And that's in essence what we do as well. Our clients have challenges, they have problems, they have blind spots. They may even have some limiting, crushing beliefs. And all they're aware of are the symptoms
Symptoms.
of the root of the problem.
That is so good. That is so good. Um, mm. So, wow, that is really good. I like that. I like that medical analogy because most of us can relate to it. Like I'm over here like having allergy stuff happen, sneezing. Sorry,
Yes,
Lord. Try,
yes.
trying to stay present.
You're doing great. You're doing great, Anna.
Oh goodness. But I forgot to do my allergy spray. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh
Yep,
yeah.
here they come, right? Here they come.
Yes, yes, indeed. Anyway, so as you are so well aware that collaboration and community are just really
Mm,
key aspects. They're part of the lifeblood of
yeah.
an entrepreneur. So, how have you engaged in collaboration or community in order to build not only your business, but I also want you to think about it in terms of the impact of the
Mm.
business. Mhm.
Well, I'm going to simply answer it in a very short sentence, but I'll expand a bit. I know firsthand, together we can accomplish more than any of us can accomplish by ourselves. I will also say this has come pretty easy for me, Anna.
Mm,
And I just want to take a moment and just honor my parents who I lost several years ago. But, I was always like growing up, we were always involved in church, civic organizations, different things. And I think, and I'll be honest, I've never answered this question the way I'm answering it now. So I hope I don't get a little emotional here. But, I saw the impact with my parents and people that they knew,
mhm,
community that they were involved in. And I see the legacy they both left behind. When I became an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, I will have to say this was a bit difficult for me, but it didn't take me long to fix it.
mhm,
Years ago, when I was in the nonprofit sector, I had a new position. And a mentor of mine, a beautiful, lovely lady who I just spoke with recently, still just love her. She gave me some really good advice back in the day. She said, find someone who's already gone before you and done what you've done, succeeded at the level you want to succeed. And she said, grab a hold of their coattails. Anything I've embarked upon, either in my nonprofit career or as an entrepreneur, I have heeded and followed her advice. I think together, when we surround ourselves with like minded individuals and we collaborate, we brainstorm,
mhm,
we're building rapport, we're building and fostering, nurturing relationships. And you know what, Anna? Maybe you and I are a great example of this. We both went through a program in 2015. Have we talked every day? Have we talked every year? Right. But being part of that community is what kind of brought us to this point this evening today.
true. Yeah.
And I think leveraging relationships in helping other people and providing opportunities, Anna, just like this one here, it comes back tenfold.
Yes, I absolutely believe that.
And so, whatever industry you're in, get involved with a group, online, in person, or both. Build relationships, like genuine relationships.
Yes.
Because I think when we are providing opportunities for other people, again, there's more that comes back to us. And I can't imagine getting through tough times in my entrepreneurial journey that I've gotten through by myself.
Mhm.
It's been amazing to have people I could rely on, maybe even a few shoulders I could cry on, people I could trust, I could confide in. And again, I don't know a lot of successful people that have achieved what they've really aspired to set out and do
Mhm.
that's gone at it by themselves.
Yes.
And I think the community, the collaboration of a community, and that's the other piece I'd say too. Don't just become part of a community and to be a part of it. Be active, engage, seize opportunities. And you know what? If there's not one there, create it.
Create it. Yes. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? Well, see, that, and I think in doing that, as you've said, being involved, becoming active, um, you know, giving and sharing ideas, things like that, you know, one plus one doesn't necessarily equal two when you have people sharing ideas and
Mhm,
energies and
mhm.
all of those types of things. It really does multiply. It has a
Oh,
multiplication effect. And so um you know i I just could not agree more, but unfortunately I still notice that there are a lot of entrepreneurs, because they are so involved in running and building their business,
mhm.
that they don't make the time to work on their business. And working on their business is part of the collaboration and the building and sustaining communities. And
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's where sometimes we have to prioritize our priorities. And I would say if you are one of those Anna is talking about, I would really challenge you to revisit your priorities.
Mhm.
There's a lot of opportunities online. They don't always have to be in person, although I think that's just you can't really replace that. But thank goodness we're able to connect and build relationships, foster relationships even online. But if that's something that is not a priority for you, I would challenge anyone out there listening to this, whether you're live or the recording, make that a priority as a key element in your business because collaborations within communities, it's essential.
It
And
absolutely.
maybe you're like, well, I've gotten this far without it. Well, that's fine. But if you want to take things to the next level, it requires community and collaboration.
Yes. Yes.
Unless you're content with just staying where you're at. And I don't
Mhm.
know a lot of people who are just content staying where they're at.
Um,
There's always more. And I think the other piece of that too, Anna, is I believe we all have gifts. I believe we all have experience, expertise, skills, knowledge, our own stories.
mhm.
And they're not meant to not be shared and leveraged and used in a way for a greater good for everyone. And I love your example. Imagine if all of us today, if only each one of us made an impact in the life of one person, each of us. Yes, maybe I impacted Sally today, but Anna, you impacted Jane and so forth and so on. Look at the aggregate of
Mhm.
all of our efforts combined in being able to reach more people, serve more people, support more people, make a bigger impact, greater transformation collaboratively within a community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Well, I can't believe our time is almost up, but I have
Oh
one
my goodness.
more quick question
Yes,
that I
yes.
just need to ask as we kind of, wrap up. I want, you've shared so much with us today, Susan. Um, but I want you to sum it up by giving our audience three takeaways. Um, so if you don't already have it, this is the time to get your pen and pencil.
That's right. That's right.
Time to get your pen and pencils out. Um, so, Susan, please give us three takeaways from the time that we've spent here together that you want our listening audience to take away with them.
Absolutely. And I'll keep these brief, Anna. Number one, and again, this one may be a little bit more applicable for coaches, consultants, but if you are selling a product, take it to heart. Remember, as you are having a conversation with prospective clients, especially with high ticket, remember it's just a conversation. It's not a sales call. It is a heart to heart, voice to voice, face to face conversation. I think so many times we tend to put a lot of pressure on ourselves, which leads me to the second takeaway. Do not be attached to the outcome.
Mm,
When we become attached to the outcome, like, oh my goodness, like I need to enroll 3 clients this week, right? We end up selling from a place of desperation and fear because there's no way if we're tied to the outcome that we can have everyone's best interest at heart. So do not be attached to the outcome. Stay in your heart centered lane and serve.
mhm.
These strategies I shared with you earlier, trust me, when they're implemented correctly, your clients are going to be excited and wanting to work with you. So remember that, again, it's a conversation. It's not a sales call.
Okay.
Don't be attached to the outcome. And remember, I shared this earlier. People do not buy what they need. They buy what they want.
Mhm.
And your
Absolutely.
ideal clients want the results you have. And one more, if I may, really quickly. Can I do 4?
Yep. Yep.
Instead of selling, inspire.
Oh, I like that. Instead of
Inspire your
being
clients. And then one
inspired.
more really quickly, Anna, have fun.
Oh, now see,
Have
that
fun.
one, you could have put that one at the top of the list for me.
Have fun. You know, I thank God every day for the opportunities I'm presented to potentially make an incredible transformation in the lives of clients.
Okay.
And that's what I enjoy. So
So
have
Susan,
fun.
how can people find out more about your program? Like
Yes.
you dropped these little tidbits, but you never
Yes.
told us what your program was.
Yes.
How
Yes.
can they get in touch with you about your part-centered program? Yeah, how can they do that?
Yes, really easily, Anna. They can simply email me at susandcrum@gmail. D is in Denise, susandcrum@gmail. I'm also on Facebook, Susan D. Crum as well as LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram, but not that active over there on Instagram.
So
But the easy
we won't tell them about Instagram then.
Okay, all right. So the easiest way would be just to simply email me really quickly at susandcrum@gmail. You can also again find me on Facebook and or LinkedIn.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, Susan.
Thank you. Thank
Susan
you.
D.
My
Crump
goodness.
for sharing your wisdom with us and sharing some strategies on how we as entrepreneurs can become more heart-centered, less
Yes.
salesy, and
Yes.
more impactful because we will be helping our clients, our
Yes.
prospective clients, get the results that they want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Go inspire, inspire, inspire everyone.
Great. So, my friends, as we wrap up another exciting episode of the Urban Entrepreneur Show, I just again want to thank my guest today, Susan D. Crump of Susan D. Crump LLC. Again, you can reach out to her by going to susandcrump at gmail.com.
Yes.
Remember that our passion here on the Urban Entrepreneur Show is the thing that drives us because we always want to make sure that you get access to some of the best people to help you to grow and thrive in your business. So today's show was brought to you by our sponsor, which is Thrive Leadership Institute, your go-to source for coaching, training, and resources that will supercharge your business and professional growth. You can find out more about Thrive by going to thriveleadershipinstitute.com. And if you are an entrepreneur and you have an inspiring or an amazing story to share, then consider joining us as a guest on the Urban Entrepreneur Show. We're all about sharing wisdom and experiences that inspire, so don't hesitate to get in touch with us. You can visit us and find out more about the show by going to www.theurbanentrepreneurshow.com. Remember, you can learn more and you can sign up to be a guest. So, with that, that ends another edition of the Urban Entrepreneur Show. Thank you again, Susan, and
My pleasure. Thank you.
for all of our guests and our listening and watching audience. Bye bye for now.
Bye.